Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. We are in Southwest Florida and you may be able to hear the cars going by. So we're in a residential area, a nice old neighborhood here, and I'm so excited because we're on a little expedition to see some native orchids. This is the first one that we have encountered. This is an Encyclia tampensis that is just starting to bloom, and I'm going to focus in on it. I don't know if we'll be able to see the flowers that well because my camera's focusing on the tree behind it. So let's take a look at the main plant right here. So the interesting thing is this plant is, you can see where the start of the plant is, and the base of the plant is right here. And this is a nice mature plant. It's growing along this direction. But the interesting thing is that you look at this plant and it hasn't quite peaked in the bloom yet, but I think it'll be soon. It's got a lot of buds on it. It's a nice looking plant. And you should be able to hear the cars going by here. The tree, the bark on this tree, I just want to mention this to you, is just incredible. And this is my first exposure to a mahogany tree. So the roots on this plant are just grabbing on to this mahogany, nice rough bark, and apparently this plant really likes being here. So this is the first tampensis, and I'm really excited, and hopefully we'll bring more native orchids to you as we drive around and see what we can find. But let me just show you the size of this tree. This is a really massive mahogany tree, and this is the first tampensis. So here we go. Let's see what else we can find. All right, this is our second discovery, and this is another Encyclia tampensis. I can't get too close to this one, but this is in a nice position on a banyan tree, and the beach, I don't know if you can tell, the water is probably just a few hundred yards away. So this is really interesting, and I think it's hopeful for me as far as reintroducing this plant into the beachfront state park. So we're really close to the water. You know, when Hurricane Ian came through here, the water level had to come up pretty close to where this plant's located. So when you zoom out, you can take a look at this area and this tree, and I don't know, over here maybe. So the water's back in there. So anyway, look at this nice huge plant on this tree, close to full bloom on this. So, oops, where is it? I'm not sure where I am here. All right, there we are, close to full bloom on this plant, but just really a nice specimen. Okay, let's move on, see what else we can find. Okay, here we are, number 3, kind of hard to see, but right there, that is probably about, I guess that's about 15 feet up, and you can see the blooms over there, but another native. So as we go down here, there's resurrection fern, there's tillandsia right there. This is another location. So, I just saw 2 plants. So there's one on the right and then one on the left, and they're both in bloom. They're a little different, but they're similar looking plants. And as you go up in the tree, you can see other plants that are grabbing on to this guy. But just a really nice specimen. Seems to be a very healthy plant in full bloom. And I assume this is mahogany also for this tree. So you know, we're getting a fill of tampensis. I'll get as close as I can to looking at this plant with some of the blooms, and again, I hope my camera is focusing on the plant itself and the blooms, but give you an overview of what's going on in this tree. But you know, nice morning. Orchids are loving it, and I'm loving being here. All right, so that's another Encyclia tampensis in this tree in this residential neighborhood that is about, oh, you know, I'm looking up here. Sorry, I got distracted. There may be some seedlings growing right up there. Can't tell, certainly can't tell from where we are. But this is what happens if there's the right environment for these natives to grow. They'll spread close with all the seed that is produced. All right, so let's move on, see what else we can find. This is pretty exciting for me. Okay, we're at yet another mahogany tree, and this one, and I'm starting out like this because this is loaded, and if you don't know what you're looking for, which may be me, they're really hard to see. They're hard to pick out. You know, the nice thing is that it is early June, close to mid-June, and these plants are they're in bloom. So let's take a look at some of the ones if I can find them close. So, and we got to zoom in. So we'll go over here first, and so you can see the flowers, I hope, on this right here. There's one right there. As we go over to this next limb, there's some more blooms right there in the center of the screen. As we move over, another plant right there. This one hasn't quite bloomed yet, but you can see this plant on this tree. Then we move over to this limb right here, and I'm going to follow this up, and there's another plant right there. So the blooms right now are in the center of the screen. And here we keep on moving up, and there's another plant right there, and I don't think that's in bloom. But as we move up here, you can see the leaves kind of on some of these plants up here, but what gives it away is the bloom. So this is just a healthy specimen it's a healthy collection of plants in this tree. And again, when you zoom out like this, see if you can pick them out again. But there's a lot of plants up in this tree. And what happens when you have the mycorrhizal fungi that are associated with the seed germination, when they're there in high amounts associated with the plants, then the seeds from these, and they do produce a lot of seed capsules, they'll land in the appropriate space, and then you'll get populations all up and down the tree. And that's what's going on here with this nice older specimen. Okay, time to move on, see what else we can find. Okay, this is just on a neighboring tree. I was about ready to walk away from this area, and the next tree over also has a nice population of tampensis, and I hope you can see them okay here and here. So, you know, they do spread to neighboring trees, and if you have the right environment, they're going to do really well. So this is something that most of the year, again, you can't see this very well, but this time of the year, because they're flowering, it's a little bit more obvious. But these are just non-obvious plants that are growing here, but a lot of native orchids, these Encyclia tampensis, growing on these populations of mahogany trees in this neighborhood. All right, here we found another one. This area is loaded with tampensis. So there's one right in the middle of your feed. Hopefully you're getting good at finding these now, but let me zoom in on it. And so the flowers right there and right there. So the flowers are a little bit smaller than what we've seen earlier. The plant, as you can see, is right below it. And actually the plant itself is only about 8 feet off the ground. You can hear the traffic behind me. So we're really, you know, we're on the main roads in this area. Resurrection fern is growing in this area all along the plant. There's another. I'm sorry, I got to get closer. So I don't know if you can see this, but more Encyclias right there. Another nice bloom spike right there. I don't know if we're getting focus on this, but and there's just lots of things blowing in the wind here. I'm going to try to get a little closer. Ground's a little uneven, but there we go. That's the closest I've been to any of these natives today. But you can get a feel. I mean, full bloom. Let me focus on the plant a little bit so you can see what it looks like, but it's attached pretty tightly to the tree. Nice location close to the crotch of this tree, and it's grabbed on pretty tightly. Resurrection fern, that seems to be always associated with it. And then as we go up, so this is the plant that we looked at originally, and let's go up a little further, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's more plants up here, right there on this tree. And then if we go up even a little further, and this is a weird angle for me, but there's more plants up there. So once they find a spot, they tend to colonize and the seeds fall and you get more plants. So this tree is loaded. And again, hard to see. It was a little hard to see this plant when we drove by. We got some pretty good spotters here. Okay, that's it. Time to move on. Okay, not tampensis there, but we're stopped here. Just on the other side of this hedge is a pine tree. So you may not be able to see it well, but right there is a tampensis. And it's the first one that we've seen on a pine tree. Everything else has been in mahogany trees up to this point. So just wanted to highlight that. They do grow in a few different types of trees, and just again, a nice healthy plant on this pine tree. And we are, same thing, we're about half mile from the beach. So tampensis are not a big plant, but it's doing pretty well. Okay, new tree. So this is a coconut, and this is at the base of this tree. So we've got the tampensis plant that's right there. It's probably past its prime, but this is at the base of a coconut. And as you go up here a little bit more, you can see right here this plant, and it looks like there used to be another plant that isn't there anymore. So found it on a coconut palm. I didn't find it, one of the spotters did. But anyway, there's another. They just seem to grow on a lot of different plants, whatever will support their growth. Okay, time to move on. Okay, I have it on ultimate authority that the orchid that I'm showing here is native, and was native to this area. So let's get a little closer, and hopefully the owner of this house won't come out and get me. This is a monster Cyrtopodium. I mean, look at this plant. There's you know, it originally circled throughout the whole tree here, so it's underneath a I guess this is a cabbage palm that it's surrounding. But look at the canes on this guy, and there's some, like I said, there's ferns in there, but huge plant, doing really well under these conditions. And the thing is that's interesting, we're gonna take a look down the street. We are probably, beach is right down there. You may be able to see the water in the middle of your screen to the left of the red vehicle down there, and we're probably quarter mile from the water right there. And so this Cyrtopodium was underwater from Ian, and I guess that's what caused a lot of the damage here. And it is coming back, and apparently coming back strong. Nice, healthy new growth on this plant. So this is just a really nice looking plant. Again, I'm getting closer to the house and hope the owner doesn't come out, but just a wonderful plant, really vigorous, doing well, and Florida native. So I better finish up and move on, because I'm about 10 feet away from the house here. All right, I'm excited. This is a huge native Cyrtopodium. Okay, do you see any? Can you see any in this tree? Because they're all over the place. So let's get a little closer and take a look. Another mahogany tree, and you can see the mahogany tree goes right up to the end of the road. But as we go up the tree, let's take a look up. I'm going to zoom in. This was just described to me as the Mac Daddy of all of the tampensis plants. So they're just, I'm not sure I need to point them out because they're all over the place on this tree. As you go up this, you can see them all there. Let's jump over to this next group right here, and you can see one right there, or flowers as we go down. There is another one right there. You can see the flowers in the center of the screen from this plant that's now in the center of the screen. So we go down, they're just all over the place. There's another one that should be, that's right there. You can see the flowers. As we move down, let's move back up the trunk, and there's another one right there in the middle, and they're just all over the place. So zooming out, can you see them? I know, it's kind of hard to see. Another one up there, it should be right there somewhere. There's another one, but there, oh, and as we go up further, there's another one right there. They're all over. Oh, every time I look, I see more. So anyway, this tree is just loaded. Again, right on the road, main area, main street, and this tree is just loaded. Okay, that's it. Time to move on. Okay, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the search for the wild or native Encyclia tampensis. Saw a lot of them today. It was pretty exciting for me, and also the Cyrtopodium. That was a pleasure to see as well. If you liked what you saw today and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.